In a Tokyo hospital room, we meet Yuichi. His son was pushed off a rooftop, and now the poor kid is fighting for his life. Yuichi sets out to find the person who did it. His search leads him to a bullet train heading from Tokyo to Kyoto, and that's where things get interesting. In another part of Tokyo, we meet an assassin named Ladybug who believes he's cursed with bad luck. No matter how hard he tries to avoid violence, people end up dead. His handler, Maria, assigns him a last-minute job: board the same bullet train and retrieve a briefcase marked with a train sticker. At the station, Ladybug accidentally bumps into Yuichi and drops his ticket. The bullet train is 16 cars long, and you've only got a minute to hop on or off at each stop. Yuichi boards. So does Ladybug. Except Ladybug lost his ticket, and the conductor says he's got to get off at the next station. But before that happens, he spots the briefcase. However, the briefcase belongs to twin assassins, Tangerine and Lemon, who just pulled off a big job for a powerful crime boss, the White Death. They rescued his kidnapped son and recovered the ransom-filled briefcase. The twins are too busy arguing over who took down more targets to notice Ladybug swiping it. When Lemon finally checks and realizes it's gone, their life expectancy just dropped to 0. The White Death isn't someone you disappoint. He started as a nobody, clawed his way up the Yakuza ranks, then eliminated his own boss to take over. He hired the twins for a reason. Their flawless job in Bolivia proved they're the best. Meanwhile, Yuichi follows his lead to first class, expecting to find his target. Instead, he encounters a harmless-looking schoolgirl. He apologizes and backs away, but the girl tases him. She's the Prince, a deadly assassin who uses her harmless schoolgirl persona to catch victims off guard. When Yuichi regains consciousness, she casually confesses. She's the one who pushed his son off the roof, just to lure him onto the train. The prince reveals she knows Yuichi works for the White Death. He was the one who delivered the ransom-filled briefcase to the kidnappers. Now she wants his help to rig that same briefcase to explode when the White Death opens it. At the first stop, Ladybug prepares to hop off, but an angry guy blocks his path. He is the Wolf, a hardened assassin with a tragic past. Orphaned young, he fought his way up the cartel ranks. He even found love, until his wedding day became a tragedy. Poison took everyone, including his bride. The Wolf is convinced he saw Ladybug there that day, and he's been hunting him ever since. A tip finally led him to this train. The two assassins fight, and it gets ugly fast. A blade strike from the Wolf deflects off the briefcase, plunging into his own chest instead. Ladybug arranges the body to resemble a sleeping drunk, then calls Maria. Maria insists it's a case of mistaken identity. While Ladybug was at the wedding, he was merely a cocktail waiter, not the killer. Back in their seats, Lemon and Tangerine receive the worst possible surprise. The White Death's son has been poisoned. They cover his face and storm off to hunt down the briefcase thief, convinced the same person must be responsible for the poisoning. At the next stop, Ladybug prepares to slip away again, but spots Lemon guarding the train door. He recognizes Lemon from a past job in Johannesburg, and suddenly, leaving doesn't seem like such a good idea. Thinking fast, Ladybug hides the briefcase and approaches Lemon. He offers to return it in exchange for assurance that the twins won't eliminate him. Lemon seems agreeable, until he brings up the dead kid. Unbeknownst to Ladybug, Lemon believes he poisoned the son, while Ladybug mistakenly thinks Lemon's referring to the Wolf. He confesses, and a fight breaks out. Ladybug knocks Lemon out cold. Just to be safe, he slips some strong sleeping powder into Lemon's water bottle for when he wakes up. Checking Lemon's phone, he discovers Tangerine has just texted Lemon his description. The prince saw him with the briefcase and ratted him out to Tangerine.
I ain't got the time or the patience. Stop!
Acting fast, Ladybug throws together a makeshift barricade, accidentally releasing a stolen zoo snake in the process. When Tangerine storms in, he's distracted by fireworks and a passenger dressed like Ladybug, allowing the real one to escape unnoticed. While this unfolds, the prince, who's been monitoring Ladybug the entire time, locates the briefcase and pulls Yuichi into a bathroom to rig it. Yuichi makes a move for the prince's firearm, prepared to eliminate her, but she reminds him about her guy at the hospital, ready to harm his son if she doesn't check in. She deliberately lets him keep the weapon, casually revealing he was moments away from blowing his own head off. She'd tampered with the gun to backfire. She explains both the firearm and briefcase are rigged to eliminate the White Death when activated. This extreme measure is necessary because he's proven impossible to eliminate. 31 of his own men have tried to kill him, and each time he turned their weapons against them. Now, Yuichi's gonna take the fall for the son's murder. When the White Death inevitably tries to execute him, the weapon will backfire. If the gun fails, the briefcase will finish the job. Tangerine finds Lerman, still unconscious, and wakes him up with a good slap. As the train pulls into the next stop, right where the White Death's men are waiting, the twins work together to convince them everything's under control. Meanwhile, Ladybug hides in the bathroom and calls Maria using Lerman's phone. Together, they realize that since the White Death's son was poisoned the same way as the victims at the Wolf's wedding, another assassin, the Hornet, must be aboard the train. She uses a lethal snake venom that causes uncontrollable bleeding. Victims die within 30 seconds without the antidote. Using Lerman's phone tracker, Tangerine finds Ladybug in the bathroom, and they get into a fight over the briefcase.
Do you have anything sparkling?
No, you're welcome.
In the chaos, Ladybug triggers an emergency door. Both men nearly get sucked out of the speeding train. Safely inside the train, the White Death delivers an ultimatum to Tangerine. If his henchmen don't see his son and the briefcase at the next stop, everyone on the train dies. Ladybug and Tangerine come up with a quick plan. They pretend Ladybug is the other twin and show a fake briefcase. But Ladybug screws up and accidentally opens the fake briefcase, blowing their cover. They barely make it back onto the train as it starts moving. By the next stop, the two actually start getting along. Ladybug reveals where he hid the real briefcase and tries to leave. But Tangerine needs someone to blame and won't let him go. With seconds before the train moves again, Ladybug kicks Tangerine off the train, but the stubborn assassin manages to smash through the windshield to get back on. Meanwhile, Lerman bumps into Yuichi and the prince. Being a Thomas the Tank Engine nerd, Lerman judges people based on the kids' cartoon characters. When the prince turns on her innocent schoolgirl act, claiming Yuichi's holding her hostage, Lerman doesn't buy it for a second. He initiates a truth-testing game, but the prince flips the script, conning him into capping Yuichi. Only when he sees the rigged weapon in her bag does he realize he screwed up. But before he can make a move, the spiked water Ladybug slipped him kicks in and he collapses. The prince takes the opportunity and puts one in Lerman's chest and shoves both men in the bathroom. After hiding in plain sight the entire time disguised as an anime mascot, the Hornet finally shows herself. She's the one who stole the lethal snake from the zoo and used its venom to take out everyone at the Wolf's wedding and the White Death's son. She quickly changes into a snack cart girl's outfit and approaches Ladybug to collect payment for eliminating the White Death's son. Her employer told her the payment would be in the briefcase with the train sticker. They get into a fight, and she skillfully stabs him with her venom syringe, but Ladybug turns it around and injects her with the remaining poison. With 30 seconds left, the Hornet goes for the antidote, but Ladybug is quicker. He takes it for himself and watches as she stumbles away, the poison taking effect. Tangerine finds Lerman's body and loses it. Grieving his twin, he receives the White Death's call and grows reckless, giving the crime boss a piece of his mind, convinced he wouldn't dare kill him on a train full of witnesses. But the White Death knows the train is practically empty. He bought every ticket to Kyoto and knows the only remaining passengers are the assassins. While hunting his brother's killer, Tangerine comes across the prince and nearly falls for her innocent act until he spots the diesel sticker Lerman planted on her back, his trademark warning that someone's dangerous. Just as Tangerine prepares to strike, Ladybug bursts in and completely misreads the situation, believing he's saving a helpless girl. One gunshot later, Tangerine's fighting for his life and is unable to warn Ladybug about the prince. Now completely fooled by the prince's act, Ladybug tries helping her escape at the next stop, but she cleverly keeps them on board by pretending her backpack's stuck. Being the good guy he is, Ladybug stays to protect who he thinks is just a bystander. Meanwhile, the elder tracks his son's phone to the train and finds Ladybug and the prince. They try to change seats when the old man sits near them, but Ladybug gets bitten by the snake while reaching for the prince's bag. While Ladybug deals with the snake, the elder confronts the prince. He knows who she is, and his own assassin, disguised as a nurse, has already eliminated her hospital henchman. With her leverage gone, the prince runs. Ladybug reappears, the antidote he'd taken earlier having neutralized the venom again. The elder then shares wisdom with Ladybug. Perhaps his bad luck isn't truly bad, since everything happens for a reason. He reveals he was the Yakuza boss's confidant and had warned about the White Death's inevitable betrayal. The White Death killed his wife on that fateful day, and he's waited years for revenge. Now in Kyoto, fate will finally deliver justice. The group reunites with Yuichi and Lerman. Yuichi is badly wounded but stable, while Lerman survived thanks to his bulletproof vest. But Lerman loses it when he sees Tangerine's body, and it takes Yuichi and the elder to calm him down by convincing him to work together to take down their common enemy.
Gentlemen!
As the train pulls into its final stop at Kyoto, the White Death boards, and it is revealed that the prince is actually his daughter. All this time, she'd been trying to get her father's attention. He'd always favored her brother. Now she's pointing the rigged gun at him, trying to get him to eliminate himself with his own signature method. But the White Death just laughs and walks away. She was never being ignored. She simply wasn't part of his plans. He had always wanted a son, which is why he'd ironically named her Prince in the first place. Meanwhile, Ladybug hands over the briefcase to the White Death's men, lying that he's the last surviving assassin. As the henchmen examine the rigged case, the White Death reveals this whole train situation was his elaborate revenge scheme for the loss of his wife. Years ago, Lemon and Tangerine's famous Bolivia job attacked his facility, forcing him to travel. Left alone, his wife had to rescue their troublemaker son from yet another problem. That's when assassins targeted his car, but his wife was in it instead, and she took the hit. She didn't die immediately, though. She might have survived the attack if not for the hornet poisoning the only surgeon who could have saved her. He lured the hornet here to take out his worthless son as payback for getting his wife killed. Then he tricked all these assassins into eliminating each other. He thinks Ladybug is Carver, the man behind his wife's assassination, but Carver had called in sick, and Ladybug had to fill in for him. Just as he prepares to execute Ladybug, the henchmen open the briefcase. The explosion launches Ladybug back into the train as Lemon somehow gets it moving. The White Death and his surviving men also board the train. The Elder dispatches several henchmen before confronting the White Death directly, while Ladybug and Lemon battle the remaining threats. With the controls in Japanese, Lemon can't stop the speeding train as it collides with another. The cars rip apart, but the train keeps speeding along. In a moment of peace, Ladybug saves Lemon's life, and the two apologize for their messed up history. Then, Lemon grabs the last henchman and hurls them both off the train as it crosses a bridge. Back in the main fight, the White Death is destroying the Elder until Ladybug hits the emergency brakes. This sends a water bottle sliding to Yuichi and a sword sliding to the Elder. Yuichi throws the water bottle at White Death's head. The boss stumbles, and the Elder runs him through with a sword. But the train derails, plowing through a town. Ladybug goes flying and is saved by the anime costume. When the wreckage settles, the Elder, Yuichi, and even the snake survive, along with the White Death, who immediately grabs the rigged gun. In his attempt to shoot Ladybug, he blows half his own face off. The Elder calmly places his wife's handkerchief on the body, his long-awaited revenge complete. The prince reappears, boasting about eliminating the White Death and moving to finish the survivors, only to be crushed by a tangerine truck. Maria arrives to rescue Ladybug, making him feel pretty good about his luck for once, until a telephone pole smashes into Maria's car, just as he complimented. The film closes revealing Lemon survived the jump, hijacked that tangerine truck, and intentionally flattened the prince to avenge Tangerine.